What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cap show. We got the NCAA March Madness Final Four, FAU versus San Diego State in the U versus UConn. I love it. We get to see the underdogs finally take off here in Florida Atlantic. They're a 9 seed. They're not supposed to be here. There were 300 to 1 odds to even make it this far, which is crazy. But honestly, I'm going Florida Atlantic over San Diego State in a close one. I think this game's going to be really interesting, but I think the toughest game this weekend is definitely the U versus UConn. I think either game could go either way. It's going to be tough, but I definitely like Florida Atlantic over San Diego State. I think they have better coaching, and that starts with Dusty May. He's born and raised in Indiana. I think really they have the complete team. They got the 7-footer. I mean, he's from Russia. This cat is nice. Kind of a little uncoordinated on his feet, but overall, they just play nice together. Florida Atlantic's just that chemistry team, and it starts with Janelle Davis, their key guard. I think he's one of those guys that is going to give you 30 a night if they're going to run deep, and they have been doing that. And then Nicholas Boyd, another guard for Florida Atlantic. I mean, they got some hoopers there that can play, but on the flip side, San Diego State right now, they're 2.5-point favorites. It makes sense. Matt Bradley, their key guard, he's their main guy, and then they got a big guy as well. And Nathan, dude, this dude is crazy nice. But I just think, looking at San Diego State with their head coach, Brian Dutcher, he's going to have his players. Look, we cannot give up second chance opportunities on the boards. We're going to have to connect on all the boards. We're going to have to do the right things, right? And I just think for San Diego State, you cannot have key turnovers in this game or else Florida Atlantic's going to capitalize on it. But what's crazy about Florida Atlantic and San Diego State is that both of these teams have never been to the Final Four. Never, dude. This is their first time. So both these teams, this is a new whole experience here. And we do know that one of these teams are going to go to the championship game, and that's it for them. They've never even been to the championship game before in school history. So I love this right now. I mean, the money line play for Florida Atlantic's not too great, but it is better than nothing. It's plus 120 right now, money line. Plus 120, that's not bad. That is not bad whatsoever. But however, San Diego State money line, I would not do that. Minus 140, you're not getting the best for your odds. You're better off taking the points, but overall, Florida Atlantic plus 120. I mean, the 100 to win 120 back. I think that's a good bet. I really do. I think Florida Atlantic is the team. Now, watch Florida Atlantic get blown out here and just kind of embarrassed, on national television. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I think they're well coached. They have great chemistry, so that's why I'm going Florida Atlantic, and not to mention their key guard, Davis. I think this is their shot right here, and they're against all odds here. Not even San Diego State, yes, they're against all odds, but Florida Atlantic, they were never even supposed to be in this spot ever, dude. This is crazy. I think it's great. And Dusty May, he's a heck of a coach, so I think Florida Atlantic's going to squeak out a close one, and then they're going to go to the championship game. Now, who are they going to play in the championship game? Is it going to be the U in Florida? Have two Florida teams in the championship game? Who would have saw that coming? That's crazy. Even though I've been on Miami since day one, ever since they beat Indiana, I mean, dude, it's tough. It is really tough, but I like Florida Atlantic. I mean, they've not had the hardest schedule to get here. Yes, they beat Tennessee and Kansas State. Those are those notable wins right there. To where San Diego State, they beat Bama and Creighton. Those are notable wins, but Bama, I was never really sold on Bama, though. I really wasn't. Bama this year was kind of overhyped. Yes, they were the number 1 seed, but I just didn't see it in them. I did not, I'll give them credit, but I think Florida Atlantic's going to go to the championship game. So we got the late game, the Miami Hurricanes versus UConn, man. UConn's 5.5-point favorites. Overall, 100% UConn is the better team. Absolutely. I'm not saying just like point guard wise. I'm just saying team wise. They have a deeper bench. I would say they play better. Not to mention UConn started this year 14-0. Dude, UConn has a lot of momentum here. They really do. But the key factor is their key player, Jordan Hawkins. He's their key guy, for UConn, and he's going to give you whatever he's going to give you. He could give you 30 one night. He could give you 20 and 10 assists, whatever the case is. But I just think right now, man, and you have Andre Jackson Jr. as well for UConn, who's nice. But the key for Miami winning it is their star guard, Isaiah Wong. He's their best guy right now, and I think he's that type of point guard that can lead you to a championship game. He can facilitate, he can hit the open man, he can do all the right things where it's like, I'm not going to do dumb turnovers, I'm not going to do silly passes or dumb shots here. I think Isaiah Wong is the best player left in the NCAA tournament right now in March Madness. Overall, out of both teams, he's definitely the best player. I think, and the coach realizes that, Jim realizes that for the U. Hey, Wong's going to have to get the flow going. Go right to Wong right away. Not to mention they have Jordan Miller. They have Pack. He's from Indiana, another key guard as well for the U. And I wish Indiana University would have got Pack. Out of Indiana, Lawrence North, I believe it is, or Lawrence Central. I just think, looking at that, it's just like crazy, right? And then they have a big guy, Omar. He's a grinder for the U. He's going to get you boards, and he's going to have to match up against, their key guy, their big guy, Adam. He's one of those cats that, hey, he's going to get 10-plus boards at least a game. He guaranteed for UConn. So this matchup's going to be interesting. I think that's what the matchup boils down to, is these two big guys from Miami and UConn matching up against each other. That's the key right there. What's it going to be? But I think Isaiah Wong, like I said, he's their guy, man. He's their guy. I mean, really, the Utes had the toughest road to get where they're at right now. I mean, they had to play Indiana. They had to play Houston, which was a number 1 seed, and play Texas, which was another great team as well. And they came back down by like 13 or 15 playing against Texas, came back and won that game. So I think right now, out of all 4 teams, the U is definitely the most tested overall. Absolutely. They're the team that, hey, I'm going to go all the way. I'm going to go dive on the boards. I'm going to do all these crazy things. But I just think right now, man, the U, it's tough to bet against Miami because I think they're the hottest team right now. But obviously UConn, if UConn wins this game, I have UConn winning it all. Absolutely. Whoever wins these two out of the Miami versus UConn, I think they're going to win it all. These two teams right here are the teams that are probably most likely going to win it all. Not to discredit Florida Atlantic and San Diego State. They made a great run. I just don't think they're going to win a national championship here. So I'm going to either go the U or UConn. It's just such a coin flip for me. I mean, obviously, if you're throwing $1 million, I'd probably tell you to go, hey, UConn's probably the safer bet. They're favorite by 5.5. The money line's minus 240 right now. To whereas if you're betting on Miami, they're plus 196. They just don't have as much depth as UConn right now. They're not as big as UConn, but I will give one edge for the U compared to UConn is they have better guards. I think their guards are better than UConn's. And I think that's really key to win a championship in college basketball is have great point guards and have guards that can guard on both sides, can guard on defense and can score on offense, can do it all, can facilitate, bring that energy in. Not to discredit UConn, they do have great guards. They have a backup guard, Joey, coming off the bench. He's their spark plug. He likes to play good defense. He's great. But I just think looking at it from UConn, I think they are the team that, hey, they already have national championships. They're a winning program. They have experience here, and for Miami, this is their first time in school history in the Final Four. So for them, this is new territory. Whereas the UConn, man, they've been here many times. They've won championships after championships. I mean, 2011, 2014, the most recent. So I think for UConn, dude, like, obviously they're going to be favorites. So, it makes sense to me, but I just think for some reason, in my gut, I just think Miami is that team to probably is going to win this game, dude. I don't know why. I just think overall their guards are just better. That's why I'm taking the Miami Hurricanes over UConn. I think they're just better, dude. I really do. I think from start to finish, I do. I'm not saying the whole team's better. I'm just saying their guards. This is going to come down to guard play. Yes, I understand the two big men are going to match up. This is going to be a crazy matchup. But I think if Miami Hurricanes, their guard play, if they can kind of separate themselves and say, hey, I'm better than you. I'm going to hit my open shots. I'm going to hit the open threes. That's what Miami has to do to win this game. You have to hit your open shots because if you don't, it's going to be over. UConn's going to win by 10-plus points. If Miami Hurricanes are not going to hit their open jumpers, hit their open three-pointers, hit the just like when the shot clock's going down to like 3 or 2, like hit the shots, man. You got to hit these key shots to where, if you don't, it's over with. And UConn's definitely going to run away with this, but I don't know why. I'm back of my gut is just telling me freaking the Miami Hurricanes. I want to see it. I'm going to pick Miami ultimately right now, which is crazy because these are two dogs. Florida Atlantic is an underdog, and Miami Hurricanes are an underdog. So going with both dogs in the fight right here is kind of silly, right? It's kind of like, dude, what are you doing, Cap? Like, this is against all odds. Why are you picking both dogs here? It just makes sense to me. It really does. But, if I get the Miami Hurricanes pick wrong, I wouldn't be mad because I think, UConn's probably the overall better team overall that's probably supposed to win it here. Their favorite here. They have, I think, the coaching and everything aspect of that is just better overall. Not saying Jim's not the better coach. I think Jim for the U has been really great. Made it to the Elite Eight last year. Now he's in the Final Four this year. Dealt with adversity. Their team battled back, being down by 13 plus points against Texas. I just think right now the U to me is kind of like a tempting bet here. Is it a sucker bet though? That's the thing. Is this a dumb bet to say, hey, I'm gonna go Miami in this one? I don't know here. I really don't. UConn, they probably will win it though. Realistically, I think UConn's the better team. They're gonna win it, and I think they're gonna win the whole thing. But I think whoever wins UConn and Miami is gonna win it. But obviously, I'm still gonna go the U, but I still could see the end being UConn winning it by like 4 or 5 points, somewhere in that aspect. But I definitely would have run. What a year it's been for college basketball, March Madness in 2023. It's been crazy. It really has. It's been one of those words, eye-openers where, wow, another 16 seed goes down in Purdue. Like, dude, that's crazy. The second time ever. The first one was in 2018 against Virginia. Like, these things are starting to happen more and more often now, right? That never happened, dude. 2018 was the first time ever number one seed lost to a 16. Now it happened this year in 2023. Will it happen next year in 2024? Who knows? It's possible, but I just think right now basketball is becoming different. It's a different sport now to where it was 15, 20 years ago. Nowadays, you got guys that are going to shoot 35, 40 footers, and the coaches say, hey, that's a good shot. Whereas 20 years ago, the coaches would be like, dude, that's a terrible shot. You're going on the bench if you're shooting a 30, 35, 40-foot three-pointer. Like, that's just crazy, right? Nowadays, we have these guys just chucking up threes after threes after threes. So it's a different game, and I do think basketball has kind of softened up in a way to where it used to be back in the 90s and 80s, but March Madness will always be one of my favorites venues, dude. I mean, you had the Cinderella story in Florida Atlantic getting to the Final Four. Like, I remember, I think this was back in 2006 when George Mason made it to the Final Four. Like, George Mason, nobody ever heard of George Mason. And I feel like a lot of people haven't heard of Florida Atlantic before. Now, all of a sudden, they're in the Final Four here. Like, that's crazy. I mean, San Diego State, 2.5-point favorites. I just love it, man. I love the whole college basketball aspect of, the 2 halves, 20-minute halves. I love it, dude. And I think it's great. Now, obviously, it's changing now with the NIA deals and like, getting paid. Honestly, I don't think, obviously, if they have a star player that's selling jerseys and stuff, yes, pay them. But I feel like, getting paid under the table and stuff, that's always been a thing. But nowadays, it's like legal now. You have student athletes getting paid millions of dollars now. I'm not going to knock it or hate on it. They get paid. I just think for jersey sales and everything else for the university, because we have to understand college universities are making bukus of money. So, I kind of have respect for, college athletes making money. I really do. But I do think it's going to change the sport just a little bit. I think, the love of the game is kind of going to go away a little bit in like 20 to 30 years. If players are just going to get paid, for silly shit, dude. Not just like jersey sales, just, other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like just straight other stuff. But, not to knock them. But, for college basketball, it's great. It's great. The March Madness this year, 2023, was amazing. It's iconic. But, I wouldn't be surprised if it's UConn and Florida Atlantic in the final. Who knows? But I want to see Miami and Florida Atlantic, 2 Florida schools against each other in the championship game. This is going to be great. It's college basketball. It's the Kleiner with Cavs show. Let's go!